The Asus Ally originally came out back in June of last year, and we're quickly approaching its first birthday. And now that we've entered the new year, a bunch of new devices have been announced or in development, or just generally prices on these things have been coming down. How does it hold up, and will it continue to hold up throughout the rest of the year? Well, to start with, the ROG Ally is actually seeing some tremendous sales. You can currently get the Z1 non-extreme model for $400, which puts it in a lot more, competitiveness with the Steam Deck. Because the non-extreme model, my biggest complaint about it was that it wasn't offering enough performance for that increase in price compared to a Steam Deck, versus the extreme version did offer a tremendous amount of more performance. Granted, you did have to pay a much larger price tag, but even the Z1 Extreme equipped model is on sale for $600, which is $100 cheaper. So these two devices are now incredibly competitive with the OLED Steam Deck. So in my time with the Ally, which I don't personally own, but I borrowed a friend's for this video, shout out to him for lending it to me. In collaboration, I did get his opinion, his thoughts, and some of his feelings about the device and how it currently holds up today. To jump right into this, the Ally screen is still phenomenal. The OLED Steam Deck has an OLED screen that at 90 Hz, versus the Ally has a 7-inch 120 Hz 1080p panel. So it's slightly higher resolution, and it has a 120 Hz refresh rate, which is phenomenal. And over these last few months has been something that he has really enjoyed. Versus me in using the OLED Steam Deck and my original model Steam Deck, I like the 90 Hz, but 120 Hz just feels so much better. But the OLED does have an amazing HDR display, and overall deep color and saturation and vibrancy is just fantastic on the OLED model Steam Deck. So it's truly whether you want a better viewing experience or a better gaming experience in this respect. And I think for what this device is, a better gaming experience overall is what we all tend to enjoy. So we ended up preferring the Ally's display over the Steam Deck's, just because of that higher refresh rate made playing certain games feel even better. Something I really enjoyed with the ROG Ally is that I'm a Windows on Steam Deck user. So having a device that natively had Windows on it with substantially less jank or any issues that I would have incurred on my Steam Deck just was really nice. The overall user experience, granted, with all of Windowsness all about, it still was a much pleasant experience compared to having Windows on my Steam Deck. There was a lot less weird jankiness, games did respond better to the overall setup comparatively. And I think that's only gotten better with time. As time goes on and more updates and more driver revisions, this device has only gotten better and better. And that doesn't go to say that the Steam Deck itself also hasn't gotten better and better, but since I'm a user who prefers Windows, it did feel better for me to use the Ally than the Steam Deck, and allowing me to play certain games that you can't play on the Steam Deck, like Call of Duty, for example. Not only was it a higher performance experience, it was overall a much easier experience to do, because on my Steam Deck, I can play Call of Duty because I have Windows installed. Just the performance was so close to being perfect all the time that it was just good enough for me to play, but playing it on the Ally, it was a whole nother experience. Being able to increase quality levels, being able to enjoy a higher refresh rate was just so much better than what the Steam Deck could offer. And I would say if you're a big, esports player, an Ally is probably what you should get in terms of performance and, just general compatibility with esports titles. And I know that not every esports title has problems with anti-cheat and, just Linux softwares in general, but the vast majority, like Destiny 2, Call of Duty, Overwatch, and a handful of others, Valorant is a massive one. So it's not like these games aren't unplayable on the Steam Deck. It's just in order to play them on the Steam Deck, it requires a lot more effort. So overall performance in these titles has been fantastic. The Ally has been nothing but a truly wonderful portable gaming experience. That goes to say, though, due to its smaller form factor and its, overall higher performance, you do see a noticeable decrease in battery life. Not any worse than the Steam Deck, but it is a noticeable decrease. And you'll notice it especially the longer you own the device, because, over time the battery starts to wear out, it starts to age, battery life starts to degrade, which you do feel even more on these portable gaming devices. And I feel like the next big step forward for these gaming devices isn't necessarily performance, but battery management, and being able to play these games at lower and lower wattages, which is something that the Steam Deck has truly mastered, being able to play some of these games at truly low, sub 10 watt power draws. And the Ally, while it does very good at high wattage performance, does tend to lack in the low wattage performance. Steam Deck is still the king of sub 15 watt performance versus the Ally's 15 plus bracket of performance that just the Steam Deck can't really compete in. Since the original release of the Ally, so many more devices have come out for competition. So since then, we've seen the revision of the Steam Deck, we saw the Legion Go, and Neo has released a crap ton of devices, as they tend to always, which most of those haven't been incredibly competitive, but we've seen even some cheaper devices coming out from them now. Stuff like the Neo Next Lite, which is a round $400, $300 device that, granted, I've made my opinions on that device very clear, but it is still a device some people might consider over something like the Ally. So something that I really like seeing are these, deep discounts we're seeing quite frequently is from retailers like Best Buy discounting the device to being pricing-wise much more in line with something like the Steam Deck. And then I can truly say the Ally is one of the best values if you can get it at that price. I've seen some comments on my previous videos talking about how some people have been able to get this device for even around $300 off eBay. So if you can accomplish something like that, the Ally is one of the best values in gaming if you can get it at that price point. At its original MSRP, it was a bit of a tougher sell. But something I really like seeing is as time goes on, these devices do get cheaper. You start to seeing these sales on them much more often. Even right now, Best Buy is selling them both for at respectively $100 and $200 off. You can get the Z1 Non-Extreme model for $400. I talked about this before, but that is just such a tremendous discount and radically changes my thoughts on this Z1 Non-Extreme model, because I originally would talk about how this Z1 Non-Extreme model just didn't offer enough performance and it was very disappointing. But now at this new price point, if you can get it at that price, you can save so much money. And instead of buying like the $650 OLED Steam Deck, buy a $400 Z1 Non-Extreme. You'll still get a little bit more performance, but you're getting so many other features that the Steam Deck doesn't offer, like a high refresh rate display, a higher resolution display. I would say better controls, because I vastly prefer the ergonomics of the Ally than the Steam Deck. A larger storage capacity, which on the recent revisions is, I think comparable now in storage capacities, but still at this price point, that is an amazing thing to have. If you're one of those people who prefer using Windows over the Linux operating systems, the Ally is now the perfect solution for you, because now not only does it come with Windows and it has the same or better performance, you can now get it at the same price, which was really difficult before. I mean, a few months ago, last year, that it was relatively unavailable in that sense. But now that a few months have passed, we're in the new year, more devices have coming out, the Ally has become a much more affordable option and truly is one of the best values in gaming if you can get it at that price point. So 6 months later, is it still worth it? I would say so. It is one of the best devices I've used, and granted, there have been some hardware, difficulties, the whole situation with the heating system in the device killing micro SD cards, but from what I've seen, that has been mostly mitigated through software updates and tuning of the power management systems. So in my case and in my friend's case, we haven't seen any, problems or any extra heat on that side of the device. So for the most part, I believe it has been solved. So aside from that, this device is truly awesome. And I think if you were a fan of Windows and you prefer that sort of operating system over Linux, I would highly recommend you pick up either a used or an Ally that's on sale right now. So what are your thoughts? Did this video convince you in getting an Ally, or did this video just make you realize maybe you didn't really want an Ally? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All the other social media garbage down below. And last but not least, have a wonderful day.